There, I'm unmuted. So, are you getting audio bars? Because I can't hear you, buddy. All right. I heard something there. There you go.
Well, yeah, because in my screen it was still running the intro, and I'm like, oh no, it's the wrong intro because I'm on the road. Well, welcome to Escape with Nick and Adam. I'm on the road, so I'm not at home running the show, which is why the wrong intro played. So that's fine.
That's okay. It was very appropriate for tonight.
Yeah, right. It's
actually,
for the poop show that has been us trying to get this show going so far, but sorry, we had technical difficulties. Adam was running a little bit late because he just got out of theater scene Halloween Ends, and I might have to run to the bathroom because I'm on the road, and I tried the Skyline chili, which, Adam, I don't know why. Of all, like, you can go anywhere and get a burger. You can go anywhere and get a salad. You can go anywhere and get Italian, Mexican, maybe not Mexican, but like chili. I don't know why chili is one of those foods where it might wreck your whole week if you get bad chili.
Yeah.
But I am in the lovely city of Cincinnati for work this week, and I was like, I heard about the Skyline chili thing, so I had to try it out. So it's a little bit different. The chili's a little bit sweeter, and Adam, we're kind of Metro Detroiters, so we grew up with Coney's, and that's kind of a staple of Metro Detroit. Every town and city's got its different thing, but Detroit's definitely known for Coney's, so which are basically just chili dogs or chili, especially chili cheese fries, which are the best things on the planet. But anyway, Adam, how are you doing, sir?
I'm at WKRP in Cincinnati. I had to say it. Got tired of the packing and unpacking. Town to town, up and down the dial. Maybe you and me were never meant to be.
I tell you what, this is my first time having to go on the road for business, and I mean, it's fine, but holy Lord.
Every woman looks like Lonnie Anderson?
Nope, just me. This is the only thing Lonnie Anderson like right now. It is freaking boring. Traveling on the road by yourself for business is boring.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited that we get to talk about, and we got a lot to talk about. You're going to give your review because you just came out of theater for Halloween Ends. We're going to talk about Hellraiser. Black Adam had its premiere, and the reviews are starting to trickle in for that. A lot of McFarlane toy news. A lot of MCU project news. Adam, let's get into it. So, you were messaging me during Halloween Ends because you went to the theater. It's in theaters, but it's also, I think, on Peacock. And so you went to the theater to go check it out. And you messaged me at what? Let's just say, Adam, did it get out of piece of shitville?
No. Yes, for 5 minutes. For 5 minutes. 5 minutes when Michael Myers was in the movie. Spoilers.
The Halloween movie that's got Michael Myers for 5 minutes.
First of all, let me sit here and say this. Halloween 3 does not have Michael Myers. It's called Season of the Witch. I'll defend that movie up and down. It was a mistake to call it Halloween. They should have just called it Season of the Witch. But the idea at the time was, we've told the Michael Myers story. Let's do an anthology. So maybe Halloween can be the scariest movies. Yeah, okay. And it didn't work. So they went back to Michael Myers. God bless them. So, yeah. Unlike many other horror movies, we have had like several different kinds of reboots for the Halloween series. Okay, you had the original first two movies, which took place in the same night. You had Halloween 3, which was a tank, and then by then, Jamie Lee Curtis was becoming a sensation, so she wasn't going to go backwards. So they said, oh shit, let's get Michael Myers back, and this time he can go after Jamie Lee Curtis's little girl, and she's just a shitty mom, and we don't know what happened to her. That's better than what the fuck I just saw. So then we get to Halloween H2O, the 20th anniversary Halloween, 1998 or whatever it is.
With Katie Sackhoff.
Hell yeah. And I liked that, but that's your first official reboot. That's your retcon reboot. That's your retcon reboot. Okay? That means all the stuff with Jamie Lee Curtis's little daughter and her being a bad mom and not being around never happened. Now Jamie Lee Curtis has a son. She's got some PTSD, but she's a successful teacher. Michael Myers comes back. There are 2 movies like this. She cuts his head off in the end. Yeah, great. Halloween Resurrection, that was. Then we get to the Rob Zombie stuff. Rob Zombie, I didn't mind the first one. The second one was a fucking what? So there's your other reboot. Your complete reboot. Complete reboot right there. Now you get this new Halloween trilogy, which is just like Superman Returns. Okay? Stick with me now. Where it says Superman 3 and 4 never happened. And neither did the original 2. We're going to say the Donner Cut happened, number 2. And Superman Returns is a direct descendant of the Donner Cut Superman 2. Enjoy. That's what this is. Okay? This movie starts off at our 2018 Halloween, or this movie franchise, and it retcons everything that ever happened to it up until number 2. And I didn't like the first one. Then I saw the second one. Made me like the first one. Then I saw this. I can't count to you how many motorcycle close-up scenes there are of this handsome fellow. Handsome fellow. He's a handsome fellow, okay? But the close-up shots of him driving a motorcycle look like they're from the fucking Lost Boys. Okay? They... Spoiler alert here. Okay, just full-blown spoiler alert, okay? Mike Myers needs to have this guy bring him victims so he can heal and come back. Well, Michael Myers isn't even trying to come back. The whole movie is about this guy. This movie is about a town that got so scared and so PTSD that people hang themselves in trees now. People accidentally kill children. It's just a bad movie. This is a bad movie. It
sounds stupid.
A bad movie. It doesn't... It's a complete 180 from like the Sarah Connor with the shotgun, Laurie Strode. And the last one were... This is like, I don't know, she got sober, became Mary Poppins again. What if Laurie Strode moved on? But like Clint Eastwood in the movie Unforgiven, this is Coke Zero. I don't drink alcohol. But when Jamie Lee Curtis does one of these, guess what? The gloves are off. And the guy who looked into Michael Myers' eyes and the evil leaked back, now he can heal himself too. And he's going to kill everybody. And if he can't have Jamie Lee Curtis's granddaughter, nobody can. I would totally cast this guy as a Jean-Paul Valley in a serious Nightfall movie. He'd be like Jean-Paul Valley following up Rob Pattinson's Batman. I could buy that. He's a good actor. This movie's filled with talent. Someone shit the bed.
It sounds like
this movie is a piece of crap. Except for... Yeah, in 1989. 1993 at the best. At best. I mean, if I sound like I'm convolutingly explaining it, it's because I am. When I sent you a text, I sent you this text, right?
Yep.
I had called this movie from the kind of the beginning.
It was early.
It was early.
Message me.
Yeah. I sent it at 6:58 p.m. That means I was at least 30, 35 minutes into the movie. This movie was bullshit. I had it called from the beginning. So, listen. Even Scream, that intentionally makes fun of itself and the genre. Any Scream movie's better than this. Of course, Scream 1 is better. Definitely Scream 2. But, like, you know, that 3, the 4, the whatever, that hazy side of Scream, it's still better than this.
Even the I Know What You Did Last Summer is better than those.
It's actually, that's what this
Two.
is. That's exactly what this is. This reminds me of I Know What You Did Last Summer. And you want to talk about a group of, like, teenage bullies that just look like the worst. Like, first of all, they're picking these 17-year-olds are picking on this 20-some-year-old man who's at least 6 inches taller than all of them. These guys are rough and tough because they played in the high school band. They got to sit the fucking sidelines. They got it rough.
Well, everybody knows how tough the band marchers are.
I got nothing but
Those are
respect for
you don't want to
musicians,
watch it.
man.
You don't want to watch out for the football players. You want to watch out for the band.
But, like, in every, like, kind of, like, movie where there's some kind of, like, they're like, we need some toxic masculinity in this. You know who's going to carry it out? The marching band kid.
Those freaking band kids.
Who generally just, from what I remember, like, were nice people and they played instruments and were very talented people.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it. I can't walk and chew gum.
You don't know what they, you don't know what they want. You don't want to know what they did in band camp. But yeah, they were generally nice kids.
Right. All the jokes and all that kind of stuff aside, this is, wow, dude, this was a fucking shitty movie. I'm sorry, I can't help it.
So
It's
are you
bad.
gonna message Jamie Lee Curtis for a refund or?
I would never do that. I still got to sit in my leather seat and
Oh.
recline back. And it's still checkout time for me. But here's the thing. If we were incorporated as a show, I would definitely turn in the receipt as a write-off because I was like, this is what it means for the show. For the show. Should I text him for the show right now? And I thought, nah, that'll sound kind of passive-aggressive maybe in a text. But I literally stayed for the ending because of the show.
Right. Well, I was surprised. I was like, we might get this show going early if Adam decides to walk out of a movie.
And I have. I do walk out of.
I don't think I've ever walked out of a movie. Have you walked out of a movie before?
Oh yeah, like 5 or 6 of them.
Oh, okay.
I walked out. I can't remember one of them. I can't remember all of them, but I've walked out of movies before. Yeah, the bad movie.
Okay. All right, moving on. So we're going to talk about move on to Hulu's Hellraiser, which
Did you see it?
Yeah, we watched it earlier. Sorry, late last week, and it was pretty good. It's one of those. I think it's a movie that should have gone to the theater. It shouldn't have gone to the streaming service first. It was that good.
Is it a movie or a TV show?
It's a movie.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it definitely should have gone to the theater. It's better. I think it's better than what you went and saw tonight. The only complaint I think my wife had was like you could tell some of the stuff was really, really rubbery. Some of the I forget the name of the things now.
Oh yeah, the Cinnabites, Cinnabuns.
Yeah, definitely the Cinnabons. The Cinnabons were a little bit rubbery looking, so you never want that in your Cinnabons.
No, you don't. But, I got a hilarious story about Cinnabons, but you were there.
Oh, is it a Comic-Con?
Yeah.
Yeah. But as Hellraiser, I know a lot of people are concerned about the female Pinhead and all that stuff, and I had no issues. It was fun. It's a good Halloween movie, unlike your Halloween Ends that you went and saw. But I think it's definitely one of those movies that Hulu should have, or whoever ended up producing it, should have shipped off to the theater for a little bit, definitely for the Halloween season. It's better than it was better than your average TV movie. I think it was a good Halloween movie. Not talking about Halloween, the series Halloween, the season.
Yeah, we
But
know
yeah,
each other.
Hellraiser. It's a good. I think it's. Now I'm not a Hellraiser aficionado by any stretch of imagination, but I think it's one of those. If it's fine into the series, I didn't have too many issues with it. So
Hellraiser's messed up. I remember it was so gory when I was a kid watching that.
Hellraiser, I didn't touch that with a 10-foot pole when I was a kid. That was one
Yeah.
of those. Oh hell no! It was bad enough for Freddy and Jason. Then you saw Pinhead, and you're like, what is this? And I'm just
Right.
like, nope, nope, too much. But now that I'm older and I know it's all fake and not real, uh, yeah, they're just fun Halloween movies. But it's that not super, but that kind of fetishy, all black latex look, which does it for some people, not for me. But
It's definitely the Hellraiser look, though.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Hellraiser, you know, they kind of had to build their own Hot Topic before there was a Hot Topic, right?
right. Yeah. Yeah, but there's it does have some pretty gory scenes. Like I don't know, have you ever seen those crazy ass? That's like kind of like almost circus style where they have the guys suspending from the hooks on their backs and stuff like that.
You mean like
Uh,
in Hellraiser?
there's scenes like that, but I know
Yeah.
there are certain there's circuses or even performers who do stuff like that in real life. So
Yeah, I got into
if
it.
you have an issue with that type of thing, you may want to pass on it.
See, I don't have an issue with like voluntarily doing it, and as long as you're safe and all that, I have an issue with like looking at it. I have a hard time. People are like, "You want to see my scar from surgery?" I'm like, "No, no, I don't."
But no, no. Like, do you
I
want to see this thing on YouTube? Probably not.
well, it's like as soon as that happens, like one of my hands reaches for the nearest table and waits for the flush feeling to come to my face. Like I don't want to see that.
Right. Yeah. So
You're not gonna faint.
yeah. Intel. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah. So Hellraiser, it's a recommend. So Adam, the Black Adam, had its premiere, and the leaks are slowly starting to leak out a little bit. So
what have you
I
heard,
don't I
Nick?
don't want to get too much into the reviews until we actually get to watch it. It's one of the problem with reviews being coming out so long before, but it seems like The Rock has already been letting spoilers out, but it's all already everybody kind of knew anyway.
What about Superman?
Yeah. Well, not just Superman. Henry Cavill's back, so spoilers
As Superman. Yes, yes.
as Superman.
Right, right.
And I saw someone did release like a picture of kind of what it looks like. It looks like a very nice, clean cut looking Superman, a little bit tighter than what we saw in the Snyder cut. So if that's true, I assume it's true because the internet never lies. So uh, very excited. Hopefully, it's good enough to bring fans back into the DCEU. We'll see. Like I said, the average plebs like you and I can't watch until next week, so that's when we'll hopefully have our review. So,
I can't wait to see it. I really can't wait.
all right. So, Adam.
Thank you, Carlos Bahamotos. Or I'm sorry if I murdered your last name. It only came up for a second, but I just got a notification that you're following the Escape with Nick and Adam on Facebook.
Yeah, man.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Carlos.
it.
Thank you very much. We love you,
Yeah.
man.
So, we got 4 people watching. Thanks for watching, guys. And
Thanks for watching.
if you guys have any reviews of Hellraiser Halloween Ends, Adam unfortunately just came out of that. Let us know what
Oh
you guys
man,
think in the comment section.
that sucks.
Adam, what?
It could have just at least made a halfway decent movie. It wasn't.
All you gotta do is have Mike Myers run around and kill kids. How hard is that?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you just did that, okay, yeah, Halloween Ends. They might make another one. Like at this point, I don't ever want to see another one.
Well,
No, go. What were you gonna say?
No, that was it. I was just like, how hard is it to just have the main bad guy kill people? Like, this is horror. Just do that.
I would
Instead
have
of trying to
rather.
have no, it's the handsome unknown fellow who's after the granddaughter of. Like, all right, I'm already out. I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, okay. First of all, poor Judy Greer died in the last one, and Judy Greer is a Michigan native, and yeah, Anyway, I love Judy Greer. But long story short, her daughter in this one is the one who falls for this guy. Wait a minute, man. You could have had a 2-hour movie of just grandma and granddaughter watching fucking Andy Griffith. And finally, after, because movie starts out on a Halloween night in 2019 and then fast forwards to now,
Right.
4 days before Halloween 2022. So at that 4 days, if they just sat down and watched Lord of the Rings, the extended cut, and we sat there for 2 hours as they montaged it, and in the last 15 minutes, Mike Myers crawls out of the fucking sewer hole because he's living in a sewer.
He crawls
And he-
out of
and
the
he
house
starts-
that they've been sitting on for 4 days.
Right. And he starts killing everybody and stuff. That would have been fine. Would have sucked, but it would have been fine. Yeah. This was so stupid. I haven't seen a movie like this
We just wrote a better movie than they made.
Yeah. And really, Peter Jackson did all the fucking heavy lifting in our conversation. It was so bad. I mean, it was so bad. You haven't seen anything like this since the day when they tried it and said, that's dumb. That didn't go over well with audiences. I haven't seen a movie like this since the 80s.
Right.
And it wasn't cool then.
This wasn't one of those COVID movies that got held back, right? This was like...
No, the last one was.
Right.
This had COVID regulations. This had nothing to do with COVID. I will not make excuses for a bad script. Wonder Woman 1984.
We are giving this movie no outs.
No, Wonder Woman 1984, okay? I will not make up excuses for a bad script. Gal Gadot, she was great. So was the other guy, Captain Kirk. He was awesome in it. Chris Pine, I mean. And, the character, the spirit of Wonder Woman was captured and all of this kind of stuff. They didn't even try to capture the spirit of Laurie Strode that they established so hard in the last 2 movies.
Right.
Journey with me, if you will.
Okay.
The Twilight Zone. You get the first movie. Hard as she doesn't just have PTSD. Like, this isn't PTSD and coping. This is like, I'm full on Metal Gear, let's do murder. You saw the first movie, right? Halloween 2018, whenever that was. You know what I'm talking about? How she trapped him in the end. She trapped him in her house. She'd been building a trap all these years. And then the second one, she's like, no, don't go back there. Oh my God, don't go back there. And then he hits the town, and then the whole town's hunting him down. And all. This was not that. This was not that at all. This was a 180. The only thing that redeemed this movie was the 7 or 10 minutes of the nothing redeemed it. The only thing that was good was those interesting kills that they had. Okay, and then the ending. Okay, so what they did was, even the FBI or the U.S. Marshal, whoever it was, big bad. He's a big burly, like, African American fellow with like a. Why was he wearing a fucking cowboy hat in Illinois? Anyway, long story short, he's a U.S. Marshal in Hollywood, Illinois. I mean Haddonfield, Illinois, and they got his body. Okay, the cops got his body, and the cop looks at him and is like, or somebody said, that's not how it's supposed to go, and the marshal gets out. Or the FBI guy. Only time I seen the guy in the whole movie. He goes, it's how it works tonight. So they strap his body to the roof of a car and parade him all through town with a procession of cop cars, federal cars, and they drive his body to a meat grinder. And they drop him into a meat grinder.
Hoffa style.
Nah. Mask and all.
Oh, jeez.
And then at the end, Laurie finishes her book.
I'd have gone with the Lord of the Rings plot. That's what I would have done.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not gonna try.
Right. If you're not gonna try, just be dumb.
Yeah, just be stupid. I mean, this seems like, oh my god, we're finally doing it. Throw it all in there. Who cares? And let's have fun. That's not what you do with something that's beloved by fans.
No.
See, Halloween is beloved by fans because it survived its shitty. It's 80s time. It's like, oh wow, all right, we still love those movies. Those are our friendly horror Halloween movies. Those are classics in and of themselves, even though they are quote unquote bad. This will never, ever be endearing. Ever.
This will always be the not how. This is how you don't end a movie series.
If somebody I didn't like was like, here's a gift card, I'd go buy that movie. This is, see, if somebody I didn't like gave me a gift.
Right.
Like, it was mutual, right? It's mutual. I don't like you, you don't like me. Here's a gift card. Okay.
There's some odd reason we have to get each other gifts, though.
Right, but it's Christmas. And so, here you go. I would go to my local Blu-ray 4K Ultra double disc with everything, and I'd take a copy of that, and I wouldn't even open it. I would take it to a meat grinder, and I would drop it in and live stream it on this fucking show.
And set it on fire.
Meat grinders, I don't.
I'd say we
Man.
meat grind and douse in gasoline and just burn everything. So.
And I don't even hate it. That's the problem. Like, I'm watching this movie and I'm like, yeah, you got a story. You're telling a story. It's not the right one.
It's not a good one. But...
It's like, what happens if Mickey and Mallory come into the Halloween world?
Oh, jeez.
And Laurie Strode, goes back to waiting on tables. I need 400 people. I need 400 people and $100 million. Let's make this happen.
Right. We need some peyote. Yeah, let's go.
God.
So, all right. Anyway, let's move on. So, Adam, essentially the entire slate of MCU projects for next year has got pushed back. Is this a good decision or bad news from Marvel?
It's a pivot since they lost their director on Blade. They don't know what they're going to do with Blade. That's what I think is like. That's my suspicion.
Well, yeah, the director just walked away. Everybody goes,
Well,
all right.
That's my suspicion too. But at the same time, I brought it up on last week's show, and you were watching. So Wakanda Forever is supposed to be the last movie in Phase 4, isn't it?
Technically, yes, I believe so.
Where did it go? Where did Phase 4 go? What?
Nowhere. Literally.
Right. Nowhere.
There's still half a freaking Celestial hanging out of the planet. Technically.
Which there's time to address all that kind of stuff, right? But like, you didn't set anything up that I'm looking forward to.
Not a thing. The only thing that
Werewolf by Night.
The only thing that MCU has going for that most people are excited about is what Ryan Reynolds just announced last week, or was it 2 weeks ago now? And then even that got pushed back. So the only thing that I think they did is a hard stop everything. Last phase sucked. Let's regroup. Let's get our shit together, and actually realize, we actually have to put a little bit of work into these nerd movies. That's what I'm hoping they're doing. Whether they actually do that or not, I don't know. But that's what they should be doing, because they said, like you said, this whole last phase 4 that everybody was, everybody's calling phase 4. No one liked it. No one. And if you say you did, you have bad taste. Sorry. No.
I stand by WandaVision. I like that show, and I was entertained by Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But they're not movies.
No,
they're not movies.
It's content at this point for Disney, but it's nothing that you could build off of and pivot and go do this. Be like, there's almost nothing that you can do with Phase 4. You almost have to say it didn't happen. It's like the end of Bob Newhart show. Everybody just wakes up out of a bad dream and moves on.
Exactly. He did the same thing at his other show too.
Yeah.
Did you know that? Newhart ended that way. No, there was a Bob Newhart show, and it ended as a damn dream. Right. And then Newhart came over.
One was the one where Newhart was the one where they were running essentially the B&B, right?
Newhart was the B&B. Yeah, was Stephanie the little?
Here's my brother Daryl, my other brother Daryl.
Yes, that was the show. Yeah. I like how you brought that up. especially because when you see Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, I had this fucking realization today. I was so excited to go to the movies. It wasn't. And here's the thing.
I was surprised you said that because I was trying to put the thumbnail together real quick and I was like, it's on Peacock and in theaters. Adam just must really want to go to the movies and see this.
Well, it's one of my favorite horror movies, right? You know what I'm saying? And
tis the season. It's October. Tis the season.
I want the theatricals. But here's the thing: two things about that Phase 4 and that I was like, man, I can't remember the last time I was at the movies. Man, I can't. I used to go all the time. Tell you the truth, it wasn't that long ago. I was there for Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, and I forgot about it. I forgot.
That's the thing. Halloween made some very interesting decisions this year for the things that they decided to put on streaming versus what should have actually been put in the theaters.
Right.
Prey should have been in theaters. That was good enough to be out there. The new Hellraiser. Limited release maybe, but yeah, that should have been in theaters. I'm trying to think of anything else I'm missing, but overall, like, I know Netflix put out some real high dollar movies that got very limited views on Netflix. So
I think the market is way too saturated, and we got to find a way to tighten it up.
I don't think Hollywood has any idea what to do.
I don't think they do either.
Because they're starting to realize the market, most theater goers are still not going back unless it's a big budget movie.
Right.
Everything that people have been going to see lately in the last decade that was big action budget movies was Marvel movies, DC movies, comic book movies. Now they're like, well, we know we have to get away from that, but how do we get people back to the theaters to do that? Well, and I just don't think they know honestly what to do, especially coming off the pandemic. There's still a lot of people are not sure if they want to go back to the movies. They'll never go back to the movies. There's some people who like that, right. But then there's people like me. Like, I've always been I don't want to go to the theater unless it's a big budget movie, big budget action movie where, or something where I can't do it at home, where I can't get the same experience at home. So
I understand. I understand.
I think Hollywood really doesn't know what to do right now, how to get people back to the theater.
No, I agree. I think that start by making good movies. Jesus Christ. I mean, here's the thing too. Here's what you do with Marvel Phase. I think that with a superhero movie, if you break it down to my message is save everybody, not just a few. Break even, throw some Spock stuff in there. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. Then that covers every single topic you want to cover. And you can tell a story. You're free to tell a story after that. Now, you brought up Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. Or we were talking about WandaVision. If you stick with WandaVision past the confusing shit, right? It's essentially about grief. It's a story about grief. She watched Vision die in front of her, I think twice. I can't remember from Avengers, but she didn't know she had all these latent powers, and through a fucking nervous breakdown, created this reality. What the fuck did they do with it? Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. That was not. There was a scene where they had literally Vision fighting Vision, okay, but they stopped and they had like a philosophical conversation, okay? And he's like, the dead Vision that was brought back, I am the real Vision. You're not the real Vision. And then they started talking about an archaeological like ark or something like that was in a museum, but the boards had been replaced. And they said over time the boards erode, but in an effort to preserve it, they replaced the boards. Once the end is done and all the boards are replaced, which one was the ship? Right? The answer was they both were. And so Nega Vision flies off. And we don't know what happens to him. What the fuck was he? While the other Vision in a horrible, like, this is horrible. I just realized what's going on. I'm hurting all these people, and I didn't mean to hurt anybody. I didn't mean to hurt anybody, but I've created you, and I love you, and I don't want to lose you. You're here. And they have to look at each other. She has to kill him again. He's like, she can touch him, man, like that. She's got to kill him again. And they told a very compelling story. And I just did not see the continuation of that story in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which brings it back to Phase 4. What?
Phase, why? What? Why did that happen? So, yeah, so I don't know. I think it's ultimately the best decision for the MCU to, hey, pause everything, get our ducks back in a row. Maybe, hey, get better writers. Maybe, because guess what? No one liked it. It just finished She-Hulk. No one liked it. And that finally just finished up, thank God. And I think it's one of those things, hey, you know what? No one likes what we're doing right now. Pause everything, regroup, and let's get back to what actually the fans liked at the beginning. Because, we've talked about many times where, hey, you're mostly always going to have the comic book fans. You brought in a lot of normies with the MCU, and you did a great job of just growing this monster. Well, when the people start falling away because they don't like what you're doing, and all you're still left with is just the comic book fans who were there originally, like, well, let's get back and actually, God forbid, give the comic book fans just what they want. Just a little bit. Just that much. And they'll still be there. So.
I think there's a lot to be said for, you kind of said all you had to say, too. You know what I mean? There's not a...
Well, that's it. Phase 4 should have been, and it should have been a complete pivot. But then you just stopped turning, and then you just tipped over and fell over and went to sleep and stopped caring.
Yeah.
So, but speaking of things that fans wanted to happen and finally happened, the Jonathan Kent Superman series finally got canceled. Thank goodness.
I don't have my rights yet.
Oh.
When you make me a co-host, I can go, yay! I can make the
co-host, but we'll fix that later. But
what?
Yay!
No, yeah, I don't have it.
Kent, so Jonathan Kent series finally gets canceled because, was it Tom King or Tom Taylor, whichever one was right?
Taylor.
Taylor. He's just like, this is the best. It's great. He's doing his best Trump impression. It's the best thing that's ever been on Twitter. And then it's like, okay, let's see the receipts. And you start seeing, like, it started off with issue 1 because it got into the news and everybody was talking about it for a hot second and then just went off a cliff. And turns out no one liked that version of the character. No one wanted that to happen. And even how they got there by aging up Jonathan Kent so quickly and so convolutedly and so contrived. It's like everybody's
through
like,
a deranged Jarrell.
Yeah, I was like, they went and tortured him for 7 years and came back and now he's gay. It's like, okay, that's a thing. But and then try and team him up with Nightwing, where he was always linked with Damian. He was never friends with Nightwing. That never worked. That never should have worked because, how old is technically Nightwing in the comics now? He's probably well into his 30s. Why would
sure.
A 17-year-old?
Sure. I mean, there's no way he's younger than 28.
No.
There's no way.
But they're trying to save face a little bit. They're going to let him wrap it up with a 6-issue miniseries, and that thankfully will come to a merciful end because the Eye of Sauron, Adam, David Zaslav, has now his eyes fixed on DC Comics. So the axe should be falling soon. Adam, do you think Jim Lee survives this?
So long and thanks for all the fish. So sad that it should come to this. So long, Jim Lee.
I think it's one of those things where, hey, if they, and let's be honest, if they fired him tomorrow, that same day, Marvel would swoop in and be like, hey, Jim Lee, blank check, whatever, come on over here.
Well,
I don't
yeah,
think they can officially fire him, but they will do the whole like, um, you're going into the vault, and we're gonna. He was already a figurehead, and he was starting to take, a lot of barbs from fans like you and I for like,
eh.
hey, what have you done to the DC universe?
And
And
that's the bitch of it. There is he's gonna have to take the blame because look, head honcho or not, he had a lot of bosses telling him to do a lot of things, and that's corporate. You know what I mean?
well, I think part of the thing too, where it's like that dude just wants to make comics. He just wants to draw. Like I know he's getting older. He probably wants to go move up and do the corporate thing and kind of move out of the daily grind of having to draw constantly. Um, but I just don't think he has the spine to be a strong leader. I think he's just one of those guys who like, dude, I just want to make art. I just want to make cool stuff. Like,
And he's friends. Yeah,
leave me
well,
alone.
that's the impression you get when you meet him too,
Right.
and when you see him in interviews. But when I said when I say that, I should correct myself too because you mentioned Marvel writing a check saying, "Come on over here."
Yeah.
I mean, he
Or
doesn't have to.
or
He doesn't. I know what you're going to say because I've been thinking it for 2 minutes. Todd.
I say or Todd steps in and says, "Hey, buddy.
Hey, bud.
Hey, buddy.
Why don't we
We got
call
some
up Rob
Batman
Liefeld
together.
too?
Yeah, let's get some Batman together." Hey, is Jim Valentino still doing anything? Is he alive? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Oh my
Eric
God, the
Larson? No,
'90s.
fuck Eric Larson. But anyway.
Oh, it would be so beautiful if like 2023 was just this usher in of just a brand new golden age.
The renaissance of image.
Oh, it comes back. Everything comes back around. I
Right.
hear some dopey, pimply faced teenager going, "Yeah, this is Gen 13 title. You gotta check it out, man." And then I'll be like,
This or
"Oh,
Gen
really?
14. Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta check out like this Gen 14." Oh,
Yeah. Have you heard of this J. Scott Campbell guy? He's really good. He's a really good artist.
shit, do you follow him on? Do you follow J. Scott Campbell on Instagram?
Sure did.
He just did somebody a male character. Usually does a lot of female characters, but
Right.
he posted a picture of. I'll look for it real quick while you converse.
Oh yeah.
While you
Well, I
converse.
remember, dude. I was in all in on J. Scott Campbell. Like as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Who is like? What is this masterpiece?" Because at the time, like Jim Lee was established, but really at that time, the breakout stars were Jason, and I'm talking about kind of late '90s, uh, and so that'd be J. Scott Campbell, and then Michael Turner. Michael Turner, which did the Witchblade series, and Aspen. And did you know Aspen Studio's still going?
I did not know that.
Yeah, so they're still making the Aspen comics. I think Witchblade is still under the Top Cow production with Mark Silvestri. I think they're still doing that book. But uh, talk about a talent gone far too soon was Michael Turner. Uh,
Oh my gosh, I know.
that was unfortunate. But I mean, talk about and just talking about drawing the female form. No one's better than J. Scott Campbell and Michael Turner. The
Would
end.
you mind,
So
since you said that, would you mind if I shared my screen?
if you can, because I don't know if we can or not. So I can't control anything. So
It says that I can.
no, okay. Let's give it a
So
shot.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to share.
Oh, I know what it's gonna do.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah. So there we go. Oh yeah,
Look at that.
yeah. So yeah,
You know what I.
this Spawn and Batman, it's gonna be a thing. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
this is going to be big. This might just be. I'm very excited to reveal my variant cover. Listen to this.
Yeah.
Everybody's coming back together, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is one of my
Oh yeah,
favorite female
Dazzler.
characters. Yeah, I like his
Dazzler,
look on
right?
Dazzler. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Dazzler. I like her. I like the '70s look. I don't like when they revamp her into a soldier.
Yeah. No, that doesn't make sense. But
Check out his Sue Storm. Look at his. Look at this.
yeah, just dude. He's known for obviously his female figures that he draws, but dude, like he's just a great artist. The end. Yeah, like that's fantastic.
Yeah, it is. That's the female Black Cat, right? Black Panther 2. Yeah. And or Black Panther, I meant. And then there's this. That kind of looks like the guy in a little bit, doesn't it? Charlie Cox.
Yeah,
Oh, it's Wolverine. Oh, that sucks. I thought it was fucking Daredevil. I suck at life.
yeah, you suck.
Yeah.
So
Okay, done sharing. So reboot that.
okay.
I got lost. Stop sharing.
So yeah, I would why am I here? I'm not sure why you're here, Michael, but we appreciate you stopping by anyway. So we were talking about the latest Halloween Ends movie. So Michael Myers, what did you think of Halloween Ends?
Yeah, Michael Myers, tell us what you think. Did you like it? Did you see it?
So also some new news. So it looks like Adam, you were talking earlier to me this week that they announced a Dune sequel.
Yes.
You loved it. Well, good. Happy you liked it. So
No, that's good. If you like something, that's great.
if you like it, better on you. You know, good for you. But I think Adam was not a fan of it, and I haven't had a chance to check it out yet. So, but appreciate you stopping by, Mike. So,
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, man.
but yeah, so one of the things I did see, so they're doing a HBO Max is doing a series, a Dune prequel called The Sisterhood, and they signed on Adara Varma, joined the cast. She was in Kenobi and also Rome. It takes place 10,000 years before the Paul Atreides series, and will follow the Harkonnen sisters, and basically they form, and it's supposed to follow them forming the Bene Gesserit. Is it Jesuit? Jesuit, probably saying it wrong, but it's adapted from the Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson book Sisterhood of Dune. So that sounds pretty freaking cool, actually. So,
Is that the girl that was in American Horror Story as well? Her sister is Vima Farmiga.
no, 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 no. This is no, but I know who you're talking about. No,
Okay.
it's not her. She's I don't know how to describe her, but yeah, but she was in Kenobi and she was the wife in Rome. She's a really good actress, so that was just the article that I saw from the Hollywood. I think it's the Hollywood Reporter.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
are they? But you said they doing a Dune sequel?
So Dune gets a release date. Dune 2 gets a release date. So let's check
Okay.
here.
Yeah, but
Dune 2.
yeah, if they did a Harkonnen prequel, that's pretty damn intriguing because like I haven't read the books yet or even did the audio tape yet, so all I kind of know right now is the Dune movie that came out last year. But yeah, I want to know more about the Harkonnen. That's for sure.
November 17th, 2023.
2023. Oof.
Yep. Florence Pugh is in it.
Florence Pugh's in everything.
Yeah.
She's
Well, we have Scarlett Johansson to thank for that. Funny story. Did you? No, I'm serious.
We'll see if that's a good idea or not. But
Well, no, she said. Oh, damn it! I'm lost now. She was going to take a big break after shooting Black Widow,
right.
and uh, ScarJo goes, "No." This is her telling the story. She goes, "No, don't do that. They want to work with you. Work while you can work. Work as much as you can while you can." So that's why we're seeing her and everything.
Yeah, she's popular, and I mean, she's probably the only reason. What was the movie with Olivia Wilde? Don't Worry, Darling. I think all that was orchestrated because if they hadn't done all that negative press, no one would have given two craps about that movie. That movie would have been here and gone and fart in the wind faster than it was. So
That's almost part of the problem too. What we were talking about earlier about it's hard just to get people into seats.
right, and they're trying. That's we talked about it before where they have the it seems instead of having the positive press, all they want to do is like the negative stuff after going after fans and doing all that. Like, well, the fans, that doesn't help the fan bases at all, attacking the fans because you tell me you don't want me to go see your movie. Guess what? I'm not going to go see your movie. So,
Damn right.
I say,
Well, I'll probably see it, but I get stuck going to movies because I love the movies. Love the
Michael Myers says,
environment.
I hate the remake of the Freddy Krueger 2010. Mike, I didn't even see it, so I've heard not too many great things about it. So I'm going to agree with you on that one.
You know,
And
I completely
Halloween
agree.
Kills was good. Halloween Kills was pretty good. That was a fun movie.
I loved Halloween
Halloween
Kills.
Ends, not great, huh?
I loved Halloween Kills.
Yeah,
I liked it so much it made me like the other Halloween,
right.
because I wasn't crazy about it.
Did you watch the Freddy Krueger remake? I never saw that.
Yeah.
The
I
guy who
watched.
played Rorschach, right?
Yeah, that was a fan casting come to life, and he did a good job. I even think he looked cool. But that
That's
was
just
the.
yeah.
You
He
think
that's one of
this
those
was a
movies
piece of shit?
where he was not the problem in that one. I don't think, but
No.
I mean, it looks kind of good, but also there's that Robert Englund will forever be Freddy Krueger, so that was probably a little bit of the fans.
Yeah, with
But
Freddy Krueger though, you might get Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger, then maybe I can't say his name, but Rorschach as
right.
like your 1970s version, like when Chris Pike, I think, or no, that's the guy from Star Trek. Um,
That's
anyways, he played Dracula, and then Franklin Jella played Dracula for a while. You might always get another Freddy, but what you shouldn't get in a Freddy movie is like, um, yeah, there we go.
that was a fun movie. I thought it was weird. The weirdest part of that movie is how they had like the symbiote thing, and then it went in the girl by going up her hoo hoo. I was like, as a teen, I'm like, did that thing just go up where I think it went?
Wasn't that Evil Dead?
For what?
Wait, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about was it Freddy versus Jason where they was it like a symbiote thing with Jason?
Oh, yeah, Freddy. Oh,
And
yes.
it went up the girl's nether region.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That was like that kind of freaked me out a little bit as a teenage kid.
I
Not
don't
gonna lie.
remember it going up to the girl's nether region,
I just
but
remember her laying on her back and then going up her skirt.
I remember that movie was. I had fun with it as a horror movie, and I thought that it did both franchises like justice. I'm sorry, Michael Myers out there, that we disagreed, but um, I, I will say this. I will say this. Halloween Ends is better than that stupid fucking Freddy, or not Freddy versus Jason, Freddy remake in 2020, Freddy Krueger remake. You know why? Because at least Michael Myers was the bad guy in that one, in this one.
Right.
And they're like, oh no, Freddy was an innocent man, and they killed him. He's the spirit of vengeance. And then they were like, psych, he did it.
Psych, bitch. But anyway, speaking of Spirit of Vengeance, or the Engine of Vengeance, I should say, Adam, that thing. Look at that segue into the toys.
Yeah.
It's like I went to broadcast school or something. That thing has completely crashed. That the HasLab fan backed that thing. It needed 9,000, and I think when we started tracking it, it took off pretty well. I thought it was going to make it pretty easily because it was already halfway there, and now it's stuck at just over 5,200. Where I was just like, you and I said before we thought it was overpriced. We thought it was priced completely dead wrong. Hell, you said you'd rather go get a Bratz car instead of that thing. So
Actually, I do want that Bratz car.
well,
Let me show you something. See this Batmobile behind me? I really like this. This is vintage. This is sweet. This is badass. I mean, this is good fun in 1984 and all that kind of stuff. But that Bratz car, once you take the stickers off of it, you got yourself a nice classic Chevy convertible that's on scale with a 6-inch action figure that we collect. Like, where do you go wrong? You know what I mean?
yeah, so
So,
lots of McFarlane toy news. Todd teased he just took a shot of the corner of Batman issue 127 and said there's something coming. They're doing a very special toy cover, and if you've been reading that Chip Zdarsky Jorge Jimenez run, it's fantastic. Go check it out. It's a lot of fun. But the main bad guy there is Failsafe Adam. Have they put out any type of Failsafe before?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, because
Failsafe is an action figure?
Right.
I don't even know who the character is, dude.
Okay. I wasn't sure because you're my Batman guy because I didn't. I jumped into the series because I need something to read and I was like, you know what, this is getting some hype, so I'm gonna go check it out. So I was like, well, I don't know who Failsafe is, but this freaking run that Chip Zdarsky's doing is fantastic, and with Jorge Jimenez's art, it looks fantastic. And one of the first comments that I read in that post was, "Hey, if this produces a Failsafe action figure and a new R&Z figure from that run, woo, that will be that just shot to the top of my wish list right there." So
Let's see who this Failsafe is. Oh, yeah, no, I don't know who that is.
yeah, uh, so I think I was watching one of Thinking Criticals. I think Chip Zdarsky said that he's going to try and make Failsafe like, or he was going to make a villain that is similar to Superman's Doomsday. So, and so far he's doing that. So far, I think I'm not going to say it's on par with Doomsday, but uh, he's approaching that right now. What he's doing. So, why is Halloween 3 Michael
I was just.
not there? So,
I know the answer. I know the answer to that question. I would love to answer. I'm glad you asked. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. John Carpenter was involved, I think, loosely with that. And the studio's idea was, let's keep this Halloween thing going, right? But let's do it as an anthology of movies. That was the idea back at the time. So we said all we had to say with Michael Myers. We're never going to say anything about Michael Myers again. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. And someday there'll be Halloween 4, Season of the Rabbit Goat, or Halloween 5. Winter's coming. Anything but Michael Myers and anything that was connected. It's just a scary movie in the Halloween series. But Halloween 3, Season of the Witch confused audiences and it tanked. And so when they came around to make another one, they're like, "Oh, this Michael Myers thing might just work again." So that's how Michael Myers Halloween 4, the return, I think, of Michael Myers, it's called, came about. Funny story too. Like the big producer on there, he was Mustafa. I don't know his last name. He actually died in a terrorist attack. He was at a U.S. embassy. He was visiting, I think, family or something like that, and I don't know. One of the terrorist groups, killed a lot of people that day, and he was one of the victims.
Sounds stable.
Yeah.
Black Phone was stupid but good. Agreed. I liked it. That was one of the movies. There was a few weeks there that I was going to the theaters a lot, and that was one of the movies I went and checked out because that's one of the movies I want to go see in the theater in that cinema environment. I really liked it. Life did not. But yeah, it was kind of one of those. They could have done a little bit more, but then like it's based off of Stephen King's son. I forget his name right now. Off of his short story, and if you think the movie kind of has some holes in it, the short story is super short, and even shorter, and has even less going on. So the fact that they were able to get as much as they did, especially with the performance from Ethan Hawke in that movie, I thought Ethan Hawke was just terrifying and fantastic in that movie. So
oh my god, I know.
In that movie.
I like the idiot brother with the coke problem. The idiot brother living upstairs with the coke problem. He's trying to find out where all these missing kids are going, and they're like right beneath his feet.
Yeah, and he's also he plays one of the kids from the It movies. I was like, and that poor guy.
Yes, he does.
Anytime I see him in anything else, he's just gonna be one of the kids from the It movies. So.
Eddie Kaspbrak. He played Eddie Kaspbrak.
Right. So, all right, Adam. So McFarlane's got some news breaking for action figure news. He announced at Comic-Con that he has new writers on board, and like I said, I think the biggest thing that came out of the Comic-Con announcements is Jamie Foxx is still attached to play Spawn in his next Spawn movie. So
I did not think the Spawn movie was going to happen, and in recent years, as like I thought about it, I was like, well, if it does, I guess we can kiss Jamie Foxx goodbye. Not so,
Still in.
folks. Not
Yeah,
so. This is good news.
and everything that has come out is like not only is he in, he's in hard, like he's in deep, and so I think that's probably still the biggest piece of news is that yeah they got some writers, they have some really interesting writers on board right now, but uh, I think the biggest thing that came out, yeah, Jamie Foxx is still attached and he's still in there deep. So,
Oh man, yeah.
um,
Yes,
Adam, you
please.
got some toys in today.
I did, but I don't have a presentation prepared. I do have a presentation prepared for the 40th anniversary of Motu with the Princess of Power.
Well, you brought up one figure while we were talking early. Can you go grab that figure real quick?
Yeah, I will. It's very impressive. Tell the folks at home what I had to say about it. Talk amongst yourselves.
So, peanuts are neither pea nor nut. But anyway, so the Arkham City line from McFarlane just came out, and Adam just got it in today. And one of the best figures from that series was the Catwoman figure, and it's a nice updated figure from the Catwoman that we had from like the 80s and 90s. That was in the purple jumpsuit with the cat ears, and then throughout the last few years she got an update from nice black jumpsuit with the goggles and the ears, and this is kind of one of the first figures that I'm not sure if that McFarlane's done for this uh, type of Catwoman, but it is one of the better ones, and that was one of the things that was on my wish list was I want to see a nice updated Catwoman figure, and hopefully Adam will be coming back in just a minute with what he got because once again these figures are based off the Arkham City game, so and actually you can see in Adam's shelf there is the Catwoman from up in the right there. That is Anne Hathaway's Catwoman from the Dark Knight trilogy. And it sounds like he's back.
I'm glad you had me go get it because just looking at it, it's very. This is an impressive action figure for sure. I'm gonna pull the camera down so we don't get much glare. So let's see what we can see here. So here she is. It's just Selena Kyle Catwoman. And really, I wish you could see the face better. Let's see if we can kind of get that to focus. But the effort and detail in the paint apps for her makeup are nuts. The eyes are not looking way off to the side at all. I mean,
which was one of the big
right
things that a lot of the biggest complaint for especially one of the waves. I think was it the Three Jokers wave where everybody had the side eye action and everybody bitched about it.
I mean, it was the Batman wave too, as well. I mean, the Batman from the patents and stuff. It was, I don't know what the fuck Aquaman's looking at, but got him too. But he's looking at something, and I don't know what it is. You know what I mean?
Are you ready?
Yeah. Well, this doesn't clip very well. It's just a weird thing. So yeah. So here we go again. There it is in all its glory. And I do have the other pieces for Solomon Grundy.
Yeah, when did they update that to that Catwoman? Do you remember? Because I remember growing up, especially in 80s and 90s, they had the purple jumpsuit.
Kind of like our Catwoman. Yeah, that's like our comic book. They're making her, by the way. They announced her at Comic-Con.
Nice.
Yeah. He has to announce that 6 weeks after I bought a variant, so that because I thought he'd never make it. Whatever. When did they? Oh yeah, back to the lecture at hand. It was sometime after the 2000s. Oh, Hush, probably Hush. Hush is when it was really big. Yeah, Hush, and then I think what sealed the deal for.
And Hush was what, mid 2000s?
Yeah, Hush was definitely like 2003, 2004.
Right.
It's I'm pretty sure it started in 2003, but uh, it was the Arkham games that really bridged it for everybody. You know what I mean? Her. By the time we get to the Dark Knight Rises, like her suit's not open for interpretation. It's going to be a black jumpsuit. Bottom line. So same with this. Same with the Batman. Um, yeah, man. I if they come out with a gold label, I want to get a second one of these and drop an Anne Hathaway head on it again, like I did. Well, I don't know. Like, let's see, here you go. This is the Batman figure. You can tell the skin tone's a little bit darker, oliver under her neck. But this is the Anne Hathaway head on the Batman body.
Nice.
So, yeah. So, long story short, though, I can't get over how well this figure looks. I mean, he's definitely so. We don't got the diaper booty stuff going on. When we do a little, we got a little bit of it, but it's kind of taken care of by the thinner waist. Now, see, I'm pointing at shit. You can't see it, so. But yeah, right here is where we call in this area. Right here, see where her belly button would be, and you see where the ball and socket joints of her legs would hook up. So like right here, this piece on McFarlane female action figures are one of like the kind of like, it doesn't bother me, but like collectors gripe about it. They say it gives the female figures a diaper look, like they're all wearing a diaper. And if you look at the Superwoman from the Crime Syndicate, there's definitely a little bit of diaper action going on there. So
all right, I think it's time to wrap it up. It's after 10 o'clock already. We
So,
started late, so we're a little bit later. But
folks at home, real quick, the next show we are going to take a look at these for sure. From the original Halloween 2. I mean, since we're here and I can share my screen, should we bring up the Mattel's She-Ra?
Let's save that for next time. So, like I said,
all right, well, we're going to have a lot of toys for you next time, kids.
Yeah, I say we're going to have a lot of toys once we get back. So,
yeah.
All right, my friend.
Thank you, Michael Myers, for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for the special guest in the chat. And so, Adam, don't go see Halloween Ends. Go check out Hellraiser, though. And
I'll see Hellraiser this weekend.
Yeah, thanks everybody for watching tonight. If you want to check out what we're talking about during the week or see what we're going to be talking about next show, go check out our Facebook and Instagram. If you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. It helps us out a lot. If you do like the show so much you want to download it and take it with you, we're on all the major podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, and Google Podcasts. So go check us out there and leave us a little review and, just let us know what you like and don't like. Appreciate all the feedback, and thank you for everyone who has subscribed and everybody who's watching tonight. And we'll see you next time.
Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday, married on a Tuesday. Christened on a Tuesday, married on a Wednesday. Fell ill on a Thursday, got worse on a Friday. Died on a Saturday, was buried on a Sunday, and that is the end of Solomon Grundy. Love you, Planet Houston.